This partnership with
Just
Michael
big
Jordan,
time.
man, what a week he's
He is
having.
big time. I call him big time.
You call him big time?
Big time.
Big time.
I'm big time.
It's big time.
Big time.
Big time. Big time.
Big time! Bitch, I'm big time. Big time.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Big Time, and welcome to my brand new studio space. Now, it is far from finished, but it is painted, it is empty, it is clean, and over the next coming months, this will become my brand new place to paint, make custom shoes, make videos, podcast, all sorts of exciting things. I've always wanted a proper space to work and make content, and now I've got it. What better way to break a space in than let's make a video? And it's a good one. It is my top 5 movies of 2018.
So let's get on with it.
Now, 2017 was a massive year for movies, video games, TVs, and just pop culture in general. I didn't think 2018 was going to beat it, but it ended up being a massive year and so many exciting things came out, and it made it really hard to make this list, but I did it. We're going to start with my top 5 movies. A couple of honorable mentions because there was just way too many movies to get down to just a straight 5. So, in no particular order, straight off the bat was Solo. Now, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I was really excited because obviously Han Solo is one of the main characters of the saga. Harrison Ford is amazing, and I think we've always wanted to know a little bit more about his backstory, how he got the Millennium Falcon. And Solo was a good film. I know it wasn't critically well received, and it sort of was the end of the Star Wars anthology movies for now. But I thought Aaron Eckhart? Yeah, the guy who played Solo, I thought he was great. Donald Glover straight stole the show. Every scene he was in, it was amazing. And I want more of that just so we can see more Donald Glover as Lando. Couldn't quite put it on my top 5, but that's simply because the rest of the movies on this list were just so good. Bumblebee. Now, I was a big fan of the 80s Transformers cartoon. I was really excited when they rebooted the franchise, man, going back a few years now. But as that franchise went on, they just slowly got worse. Bumblebee, on the other hand, was amazing, start to finish. It goes back to the 80s, which is just my favorite period for TV and movies. And this list will probably reflect that a little bit. Did a really good job of making an awesome character development film between Bumblebee and Haley Steinfeld's character. And it does a lot of good things, like putting Bumblebee back in being a VW Beetle instead of a Camaro. And it is still tied to the Michael Bay Transformers films in the end, but overall it was a really solid film and I really enjoyed it. My last honorable mention is Black Mirror Bandersnatch. Man, it's something special. It's basically a choose your own adventure movie where you actually watch it with the controller in your hand, and about every 20 minutes or so you get to make a decision which leads you down a branching path. So everybody's viewing experience of this is different, and it just makes a really interesting conversation. And the actual story of Bandersnatch is something I'm really into. It's about a young kid trying to make a video game for the first time in the 80s, and it just gets intense and crazy as all Black Mirror episodes do. But this one's feature length. It's about an hour and a half, but give yourself about 2 hours because you're going to want to go through a few stories, and there is multiple endings. So definitely give Bandersnatch a go if you have Netflix and you haven't watched it yet, but it is intense, so yeah, just prepare yourself for that. Getting into the top 5 itself, this was really hard to write this list because, like I said, 2018 was a massive year for movies, and I saw a lot of them. I saw almost everything that was noteworthy. Number 5 for me was Halloween. Now, I'd never seen the original 70s movies or any of the multiple sequels that followed, but a good friend of mine, Stu, is a huge Halloween fan and asked if I wanted to come. I'm a big fan of good horror movies, and this one was shaping up to be really good, so I quickly watched the original 1970s John Carpenter. Loved it. I thought it was just classic horror at its best with an amazing score. This movie is the only true sequel now. They've retconned all the other ones out, and it's fantastic. It is everything a sort of sequel should be. Jamie Lee Curtis is fantastic, and Michael Myers is just terrifying. He's such a good horror antagonist, that you're on your edge of your seat for the whole film. I actually had my fists clenched for a few really intense scenes, and I didn't realize until after, and I looked down and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I had to relax, and it was awesome. Definitely see Halloween if you're a horror fan. Yeah, that was a good one. Next up was Black Panther. Now this was a big year for the MCU and superhero movies in general. Black Panther for me was unbelievable. We first met this character in Civil War, which in itself was one of the best movies that year it came out. And now we finally got the exposition about T'Challa and Wakanda and just everything to do with that character and that world. And it was unbelievable. Man, this is by far one of the best superhero movies I've ever seen. I don't know if it was a little bit more special to me because I was born in Africa and I grew up being very proud of being African, but that's never been something like popular in mainstream. I mean, I was sort of teased a lot in primary school for being from Africa, as kids do. And I never really had someone like this that I could look up to and be like, man, that's an amazing African character. And that's what Black Panther is. That aside, it's just a fantastic movie. Soundtrack is unbelievable. I played it for about 2 months straight in my car. And Michael B. Jordan 100% steals the show. He is so good in this movie. Please go see it. It's unreal. And if you don't like superhero movies, this one's special. So that gets my number 4 spot. Another Michael B. Jordan movie, Creed 2. This whole series has no business being as good as it is. Yeah, this blew me away. The first Creed movie I saw with my mum and Bethany just at her house one day. We were having lunch and we watched it. And I was so upset that I didn't see it at the movies because it ended up being way better than I thought it would be. It is just a Rocky movie, but it completely reboots and turns the franchise on its head. And this one is no exception. It's essentially just Rocky 4 retold, but it's Creed versus Drago instead of Rocky versus Drago. And it's unreal. Again, the soundtrack is fantastic. Michael B. Jordan is literally one of the best actors of his time, and he has an incredible range. Sylvester Stallone is good in this, and he's not a good actor. He's in a lot of good movies, but he's not a good actor, and he's really good as Rocky in this. Super heartfelt, very intense, great action. Loved it from start to finish. I almost wanted to put this higher, but it's a big year and there's some big movies. Whew. So Creed 2 gets my number 3 spot. Number 1, number 2 was so close. It's almost impossible to split them up, but I had to somehow. And for me, the number 2 spot goes to Avengers Infinity War. Damn! This was the movie we've all been waiting for coming into 2018. It was following the events of Avengers Civil War. The last 10 years of Marvel movies were leading up to the big fight against Thanos, and we knew some shit was going to go down, and it certainly did. And I can't say enough good things about this movie. It is fantastic. The Russo brothers know how to do a comic book movie, and I know a lot of people who don't like comic book movies saw this and loved it, and it's a damn near perfect movie. And I think we all went in speculating a lot as how it was going to play out for our favourite characters, and I don't think any of us would have guessed what happened in the events in the 3rd act of Infinity War. And man, I cannot wait to see Endgame, to see how this all wraps up, because that was something. It was really hard not to give that my number 1 spot, but the number 1 spot for me in 2018 has to go to Spider-Man, the animated movie, Into the Spider-Verse. This movie is like nothing else I've ever seen before. I actually studied animation at university. I'm a huge fan of old school Disney animations, Pixar CG stuff, all the 90s superhero characters. I grew up reading comics as well. It's my bread and butter. I didn't know Miles Morales' story too well. I knew who he was, but this movie was just unbelievable. Visually, it did something that no other animated movie has ever done before. It was quite literally a comic book come to life. And if you haven't seen it, you just need to see it for that fact alone, because it is visually stunning. The characters, the voice actors are amazing. The story is really surprising and just fun. I was smiling from start to finish. And again, this was another movie with a killer soundtrack. I cannot say enough good things about Into the Spider-Verse. I wanted to see it about 2 or 3 more times. Yeah, as soon as this movie is available on digital, I want to buy it because this is something I want to watch almost every year. I'm just going to kill it. This was such a fantastic movie, and I know a lot of people that don't like superheroes, that don't care for Spider-Man, and didn't read comics growing up, saw this movie and was so surprised as to how good it is. It's almost a perfect 10. I don't like to give things a 10 out of 10, but this is as close as you can get to a perfect movie for me. I'm really excited to see where this franchise goes because they've already greenlit a sequel, and I believe Sony wants to turn this into a TV series as well. And honestly, I'm down for all of that. So, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse gets my #1 spot for 2018 movies. So, I'm really happy with 2018. Bring on 2019. That's it for me. It's your boy Big Time out. Peace.